Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby, and today, I have an amazing personality with us on the line by the name of Swagg R'Celious. This man is a producer, a songwriter. He sings. He has touched some of the most important records that we've heard in the history of music, and he's a young lion just really getting started. Got a Grammy. Got a couple of Grammy nominations under his belt.
Yes, sir.
And everybody's respecting this game. So, man, thanks for being with us,
Thank you for having me.
man. All right. So, like from the outside looking in, we don't get a chance to pull the veil from behind the
Mhm.
industry and those who are behind the boards making things shake. So, from the
Mhm.
outside looking in, talk to us about Swagg R'Celious, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just, a guy who loves music. Songwriter, you said, songwriter, producer. I've dabbled in engineering, so I understand what that is. I'm a father and a husband, young father and husband. I have a young family. I have 4-year-old twins, and just had this guy.
All
He's
right.
about a little over a month now. So, yeah, that's who I am. I'm just passionate, all around creative. I love everything about the creative process, from the writing to the marketing to the production. So, visuals. I just love everything that allows me to have a creative outlet, and to kind of put my carbon print on it. So that's who I am. I love developing young talent, love discovering young talent, helping those get to the next level if I can help them. I've worked with a lot of numerous of amazing producers and writers who've gone on to do even greater things than I have done as of yet. So, and I'm just excited to see them accelerate. So that's who I am.
Okay. So, like, what was one of the defining moments that let you know that music was your destiny?
It had to have been when I was around a teenager, when my family had a band. And we had a family. I'm the seventh of 8 kids. So my older siblings, we grew up in the church playing church music, and we had a little a Christian band, and we wanted to push Christian music, the genre, just creatively. And so the brothers decided to do it professionally, and that was a defining moment when I wrote a song, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's actually dope," So when I impressed my brothers the first time, I was like, "You know what? I might could do this," So that had to have been like probably because when I was younger, they was like, sit down, daddy made us put you in the group. So when I found my voice and found, my creative, and they accepted it and was like, man, you're good enough to hang with the big guys now, that
Mm,
was definitely a defining moment of, all right, I can pursue this and make something out of it.
okay. So, like, what's the most fun for the about the process for you then?
I think discovery, like for me, I'm always having fun when there's no pressure, and we're just like, it's really about just getting something done that we love. It's the process. I absolutely love, a creative process of finding the right sounds or finding the right lyric. It's so rewarding when you really tinkered with something, and then you step back and be like, wow, like, as a collective, we created that. I think that's the most fulfilling part to me, is just rolling up our sleeves and really trying to create something that unanimously everyone in the room feel is great at the moment.
Okay. So, are you one of the type of producers that has a team of young producers under you that you create with, or and you're just the head and overseer, or how does that work?
No, I mean, lately I've been developing and working, like bringing in different guys, but I'm very hands-on in the composition and production, things. So I'm actually sitting at keyboards and, you know, putting my own samples together, or like, putting the chord progressions together. I do collaborate with musicians, like, guitarists who are producers, or bass players who are producers. And as of lately, I have started to tap more into some of the younger guys, and like, collaborating with them. But nah, I'm very much so like I'm in there.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't miss out for that experience for nothing in the world. I mean, it seems to me like music is like air for you. You got to have it.
I got to. It's the best addiction in the world.
Mm. Mm. All right. So look, you played a monumental role in the growth and award-winning sound of Her.
Mm-hmm.
Such an amazing talent.
Incredible. Yeah.
I don't make music. I don't touch music. I just listen. Talk to me about the experience of creating with such a brilliant mind as Her.
Yeah. I mean, I've known her since she was 12, 13. So when I met her, you know, I have a little sister. So instantly that bond, that brother-sister bond kind of happened. And, you know, just being mesmerized at like, you know, at 12, 13, her like, oh, I wrote this song, you know, and she's like, pull out her acoustic guitar and then she'll jump on the bass and then the keys. I'm like, yo, like you're nuts. And it just reminded me of something about her spirit, reminded me of back home, you know, and how we grew up and like how in my family, we were all young and like jumping from instrument to instrument. So that synergy automatically, I think we just had like a kindred connection. And, you know, just being a little bit older and being able to put her on some game and like just seeing her develop into a young woman, more about life, you know, and just her just, you know, embracing me as her like big brother and being comfortable to have those uncomfortable conversations and trusting that, you know, that bond was sacred. Those conversations were sacred, I think really helped her define who she was as an artist because she was comfortable enough to experiment in the studio, comfortable enough to talk about, you know, certain situations, and it all translated, you know, throughout the music, the DNA of the music. So, I mean, her just being brilliant and, you know, her trusting, you know, me with her story and like, you know, saying, oh, that's an interesting story. We should make that a song. You sure? It's like, yeah, you know, you'll be surprised at how many people relate to your story and who you are as an artist. So that's what is always like, just that comfortable, like we have mad fun, laugh, you know, jokes all day. Just a really light and fun environment. And I think that really helped shape and mold the sound of that first, you know, project.
Well, that collaboration, you know, netted you guys a Grammy win for Best R&B Album.
Yes, sir.
The 4 additional Grammy nominations on top of it.
Yes, sir.
That was the real introduction to the world of her and her brilliance. I mean, her obviously your peers recognized you because the Recording Academy it's what people don't know is it's a peer-to-peer organization, and your peers to do the voting.
Right. So, exactly.
It's not based on outside sales. And I hear people fussing about, you know, the Academy this, the Academy that. But I'm like, it's the guy sitting next to you who's also a voting member.
Exactly.
Help make that decision. So be pissed off at your peers, not at yourself.
Exactly.
That's just me weighing in. None of my business since I don't make music. But I did my history, and fair is fair. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you've written and produced tracks for people like Kalani, obviously her, you know, Alicia Keys, one of my favorite artists, Alicia Keys, Neo. I never heard of Snow Allegra. Talk to me about Snow.
Yeah, so she's from Sweden, but she's really dope. Like she has this really sultry like tone, really dope. I came to work with her through my boy Sensei Bueno, and he's a guitarist, a dope producer. And during quarantine, he was in LA. I mean, quarantine during the pandemic, he was in LA, and Snow was working on her album. And he and I did this track. He sent me like this guitar vibe, and a few things maybe 2-3 years ago. And I worked on it, and we just had it on the hard drive, man. It was just like, man, this is a vibe. And so he called me one day and was like, yo, I'm in with Snow, man. I just played her that vibe. She loves it. Like she want it now. I was like, what? So yeah, she wrote to it and ended up naming it, became like the title cut on her new album. So yeah, that's how that kind of came about. But she's an incredible artist. And And it's just, again, we create so much. We have so much on the drive, and just kind of like she heard it, it fit, the aesthetic of what she was doing, and like this is fire. And I think the album is incredible, and hopefully, who knows, she may get a Grammy nom this year.
Okay, look out now. Speaking of outstanding artists, Kehlani's name is ringing bells now, especially with the joint she just did with T-Pain. You know what I mean? But we celebrated the fact that her original mixtape just landed on DSPs after all these years.
Yeah.
What role did you have in that mixtape, and what about her did you recognize as special from the beginning?
Yeah, so I mean, I give you a quick story if I even came to know her. So when I was working with her, we was in LA, and she had some affiliation with Nick Cannon, and one of Nick's business partners was in the studio, and I didn't know who he was. I'm just chopping it up with him, and he was like, "Man, you cool, man. We exchanged numbers." He was like, "When next time," he heard what I was doing with her then, and he was like, "Man, next time Nick is in New York, I want to introduce y'all." So maybe a few months passed, and in between that, I was in the studio with her, and she was like, "Yo, I got this friend Kehlani from the Bay, and she's fire. She signed to Nick, and she's trying to figure out her sound. I don't know. I just think you'll be dope to work with her. Like, I want to introduce y'all." So she linked us via social media. I think at the time, Kehlani had about 500 followers or something crazy. And so I DM'd her and was like, "Yo, we was talking about it, and man, you're dope. I love the connecting build." She was like, "Hell yeah, like, that'd be hella cool."
Right.
So then after that, she and I, exchanged a few messages online. Then I met Nick, his partner Ray introduced us, and Nick was like, "Yo, I'm working on a few things. I heard what you was doing, with her," and well, she wasn't her at the time, but I heard what you was doing with G, and I love to get you on some, get you involved on some stuff I'm working on. And I was like, "Dope." He's like, "Man, he was like, dang, I left my phone in the dressing room. Take my number and text me." I was like, man, Nick ain't about to hit me back, But man, he's a good dude, man. I text him, and maybe like 3 hours later, 1 a.m., he's like, "Yo, got you. I'm gonna hit you in a few weeks." Boom, boom, boom. And that's what happened. He hit me. And so the first time he was like, when Kehlani came, which I didn't know it was Kehlani, he wanted me to work with too. He was like, "The artist is in New York, but it's not the timing just didn't line up." And I was like, "All right, cool." And so then me and Kehlani was talking, and she was like, "Yeah, I really want to come to New York." And I was like, "Well, you signed to Nick. Let me talk to Nick and see if he could fly you out." So me and Nick got on the phone, and he was like, "Yeah, that's who I want you to work with anyway. Let's just, book it. Let's just book a week."
Right.
So he flew her out, and that's when we started Cloud 19, man. Like, because she hadn't really recorded anything. I think she had recorded one song because she was in the group Pop Life and hadn't recorded anything since then. I think she was in a rap group or something, but nothing solo. So, she came to the studio, and we talked for like an hour, and then we wrote First Position. And then, after we did that, I'm like, "Man, like, you're dope." Like, it was just like, what I saw in her was just like the 90s nostalgia, but she was hard. Like, she had a hip hop swag to her as well. And it kind of aligned with a sound I was experimenting with at the time, where I wanted to kind of bring back a 90s vibe, but made it, hit a little bit harder, more in concert with what hip hop was doing at the time, with the 808s and, the pitched 808s and everything. So, and she was just like the perfect canvas for it, because she was on the same wave. So it was kind of trap soul before trap soul, to be honest with you. I mean, we didn't have a name for it, as clever as trap soul, but I like to think we kind of helped influence that sound. Anyway, but yeah. So, and then I had a guy I was mentoring, Jahan Sweet. He was in the B room. He was a kid at Juilliard at the time, and he was like working on this track. And I was like, "Man, this fits the sound that we're working on. Can you email it to me?" And I went back to the A room, and then we did Getaway. I did Getaway with her. So, and then Jahan actually is going on to produce with Drake now, and
Wow.
Giveon and a whole bunch of other cats. But yeah, so that was like his first, placement with an artist. And so then we did Fuck With You was the last, I think it was the last one we did that week. So we ended up doing like 4 joints on Cloud 19. And that kind of became like the foundation of what that project was. And then Fuck With You was the first one to come out, and it just went crazy online. Everybody was like, who's this Kehlani girl? Who's this Kehlani girl? To the fact where like some labels was like hitting my cell, and I'm like, how did y'all get my number? It's like, yo, is she signed? Like, we trying to whatever. So yeah, that's how that all started, man. So it was crazy, and this was before the Hurt, maybe 2 years before the Hurt project came out. So it was just cool that, her was like cool enough to introduce me to her friend, and she saw her friend kind of pop off, even though she was signed before her. And, obviously she was patient and kept working. And then, a Grammy, and I think she's at like 27 million records sold now, something crazy.
Man, she's going ham.
She's going nuts.
Yes, sir.
What she got, an Oscar, a Grammy? She almost an EGOT, something crazy. But man. Yeah.
I love her work. I'm not an R&B cat. You know what I mean? I'm too old for this new thing that they call R&B. I'll put it to you that way. But I like her work. I like what she brings to the table, and she's contributing something to the fabric of music.
Absolutely.
As opposed to just taking away. So I'm really impressed with her about that. So back to you though. You're signed to Sony ATV.
Yeah.
As a production company, or how's that?
They CoPub me. I signed with them maybe a few years ago. Walter Jones signed me. He's at Universal now, but he believed in me early. He believed in the versatility. I think when he signed me, I just had like a #1 gospel album.
Okay.
And you heard some of the pop stuff I was doing. Then you heard the R&B stuff, and then me fusing like sounds and stuff. He was like, man, like, and you write as well. He was like, nah, like, like I get it, so he believed early and did a CoPub situation with me. And, he made sure that I was good at the company before he left. So I still have great relationships with everybody there. It's been really cool. Mutual beneficial relationship. And we'll see how long we'll rock.
Okay.
Then I have my own company.
Oh, go ahead. Talk about your own company.
Then I have my own production company, Progressive Music Group, where I'm developing artists and producers and writers as well. And I've partnered with Richard Gottier, the co-founder of Orchard.
Okay.
And we have like an incubator indie label distributed through that as well, where we're putting out a few artists. So on the indie side, so got a couple of things going.
So you really are embedded with Sony, because Orchard is owned by Sony.
Yep.
Right. So but on the CoPub, back to the CoPub, how does that work for the layperson? How does that work when you do a CoPub deal, with someone like Sony?
Yeah, so basically, they'll cut you an advance check to participate in half of your copyright. So basically, you lease them. Let's say if you 100% of a song you write, you'll lease them 50% for an advance, and then the way my deal is structured, I get that back after X amount of time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Work it, player.
I'm
not mad at you.
They're not bad. They're not bad if you know what how to maneuver them. Some people do get bad deals though. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm pretty comfortable. I have a great team, incredible attorney, and good management. So we making sure we good. We're gonna be good.
So as you've navigated the maze, you found out it's really important, and this is for the young artists coming up that think their internet publicist is the end all say all of everything, but it really is important to have a qualified team.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and make sure that like your attorney is an entertainment attorney, or someone who understands music business and not just an attorney, that's important as well. And managers who, even if it's a young manager, someone who's really doing that due diligence and studying the game and understand, deal structures and, language, building the right relationship. So the right team is important. It could be a young team. It's just a matter of that team really researching and understanding and taking time to know what's going on. I've had some incredible mentors who I just ask questions all the time, to this day. And, some who've worked in the publishing, some who worked in the A&R, some management. And it's like, what's this? What's this term? What does this mean? And I'm looking at, the charts and stuff at one point. And it's like, okay, how, what are these analytics? What is, so for me, like even on the creative side, I've always wanted to know a lot about the business as well, because I want to create multiple streams. I know at one point when I haven't hit it yet, but when I hit that peak as a producer, it's gonna be like, all right, the next person, So I want to be in position where I'm not running behind, placements and running. I'm putting artists on, or I'm co-publishing writers and creating fair situations for them. I'm signing producers. Like I want, I understand the business, holistically and not just one dimensional and having, a myopic view of, I'm gonna be hot forever. It's like, nah, that's just virtually impossible.
You remind me of Nick. I've talked to him interviewed him a couple of times, and he has that same mindset about putting people on. And he does a lot of things quietly behind the scene, that nobody knows about, but
absolutely.
Do you find that doing it quietly from behind? Oh Lord, did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze. I just heard doing it quietly.
I was asking you, do you find it more satisfying to do it quietly, or the helping out and being a gatekeeper, or do you need to?
I mean, I think for me, like I find it more rewarding doing it quietly because there's less heartache, right? Because I feel like when you do it for the applause, you die by the booze. So it's like, everybody's not going to come back and say thank you, and everybody's not going to be appreciative. So it's like, you don't do it for that. So it's like, for me, I rather quietly invest in people's lives, saves me the heartache, the stress. And then, if those persons decide to say, yo, man, thank you, I'm gonna look out for you on this end, or then it's cool, it's love. But I do it because I love people. I love helping people. That's how I was raised, and I keep it at that, that, keep it moving because, half the people forget anyway. Most people forget how they started, and that's just the reality of it. And it's like, you know what? I want to be mentally whole for my family. And, that stuff could really tear away at you and eat at you if you like, hey man, you didn't publicly acknowledge me, man. I really looked out for you. So it's just like, I do it because I have the heart to do it, and I really try to stay focused on that and just keep building my thing.
Okay. Well, too much is given, much is required, and step out there and help. I like the fact that you're now an ambassador for the Recording Academy's Black Music Collective. Talk to me about your participation in that and what it means for you.
Yeah, I'm excited for the representation. For me, it's really just about bringing awareness to the Black community and what we're really contributing, in music and in business. So when the collective came together, I just saw it, Jarrell, when he was telling me about it, I was like, man, if there's ever an opportunity for me to get involved, just let me know. And being an ambassador is really just bringing awareness. I'm a professor at Berklee College of Music and New York University, Clive and Steinhardt. And just being, a Black man on those campuses and being able to say, hey, intelligibly articulate our contributions and bring awareness and say, and, we're also powered by the academy. It's a beautiful thing. So for me, just being an investor is just really bringing awareness in the everyday walk of life and being powered up by the academy and saying, hey, look, they're acknowledging us as creative, as businessmen. And, we just have to do our due diligence to really keep that going.
Okay. Yeah. Salute and shout out to you for your leadership in that manner, stepping up and taking those roles. I know that you're like busy and but you give the extra. When I read that, I'm like, NYU and Berklee? Okay. And he's an ambassador for the Black Music Collective at Recording Academy. I'm like, he's really invested in the future of these young creatives and
recently voted as a national trustee in the Recording Academy. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's an amazing. So your peers are saying,
yeah,
I like it, man. Mental health awareness for creators has become a huge topic. Kodak Black last night posted a really a call for help, which we don't see. Like he feels like he's not being loved, or people don't appreciate him. They just want to, take advantage of or like him for his personality.
Right.
How do you guide your mentees to stay focused, stay balanced, and appreciate themselves for who they are for themselves without waiting for the outside world to certify them?
I think the first thing is to realize the magnitude of what we do. It's such a divine thing to be able to create from nothing, right? So I was talking to Jimmy Jam, and he made a point like, only the divine was able to look out into nothing and create something. So to have a part of that divine DNA as a creator, as a music, like we literally look out into void and create these songs or, these musical ideas. That is such a responsibility that we have to take time out from all the noise and really center, because I don't think people realize how powerful that is, the concept of that. And I think that the gravitas of that really can wear on you mentally, because you are providing something that's kind of a conduit of divinity and your emotion, to someone else. So you have to really take time to kind of disconnect. I encourage my mentees, like, disconnect sometimes. We're so zoomed in that, we don't zoom out and enjoy life and enjoy the people that are not around you. Because whether it's transactional, we're in the music business. So a lot of our relationships are transactional. And so you really have to look around and say, all right, cool. Like, for me, it's my family, my wife and my kids now, or, my brothers or my sisters, or, homies who've been down for day one. So it's really just about, and I'm a man of faith. So it's like, that's also a center for me as well. So I encourage people to find that thing that can center you, that kind of, takes you away from the noise of the industry, because you're giving so much of yourself. And like, especially as creative, like I said, that divine thing is so draining because we're only human.
Right.
And that's a divine thing that's flowing through us that emotionally connects us as a single person to millions of people. Like that one thing that comes from us connects with hundreds of people. Like, that's mind blowing when you really think about it. Yeah. So emotionally, spiritually, it's exhausting and draining, especially when you add the transactional relationships on top of that. So I just encourage them, to really disconnect, find something. And me and her talk about this all the time. It's like find your peaceful place, whether it's, a few hours in the morning where it's like, listen, I'm not answering my phone. I'm not checking no emails. I'm not, I want to go fishing,
Right.
It's something that takes your mind off of that. So that's how I deal with it. And just, again, being a man of faith, having that spiritual foundation, prayer and family really is the thing for me.
Okay. All right. I'm retired Army. When I came back from Afghanistan, that was like one of the most difficult transitions. I can imagine, I'm dealing with hundreds of people. These youngsters are dealing with millions of people, millions of people that are draining them and pulling, and you're entrusting them with you through your product, the music. Time is drawing short. The little one has arisen.
He went back. He nodded back off.
Man, I'm a father of 6 and grandfather of 13. That nod off is just a few minutes respite. I understand. When the head starts moving, they start looking around. It is that alarm clock. So, respecting your time and your family time, I really super appreciate the time that you spent with us. Thank you for bringing the young one into well, you know what I mean? Is there anything that you wanted to cover that I may have missed? Anything?
Just look out. Follow me on my socials. It's changed since the last we spoke. Is if Swagg did it now. IFSWAGGDIDIT. If Swagg did it. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Look out for Progressive Music Group, things we're working on. Look out for Cross the Line. That's the indie label I have on the Orchard. So we have artists like Alex Harris, who's a soul artist. He's reintroducing soul music in a cool way. He's fire. Annalise, Kate Stewart is coming. Leo the Kind. So yeah, just be on the lookout. Like, just constantly working. I'm in the studio right now with a rock band called the Struts on Interscope. So hopefully we'll have some stuff coming with them really soon, kind of fanning out, doing some different stuff outside of, what people normally know of me. I love all styles of music, and, I'm excited to tap into it all. I want hits in all genres.
I understand. Yep. All right. So you got a friend here at the Hype Magazine, brother. Anytime you want to come through, bring your artists through, give them some shine.
Yes, sir.
Introduce them to the world. We'd love to be a part of that rollout.
Thank you.
Feel free to reach out. You know what I mean? Last question. End this with a funny story. What's been your craziest, your funniest WTF moment thus far in your career?
Oh man, what's been the craziest? Dang, I can't even tell that story.
Don't put it on
that story, I cannot. I'll just say this. I won't name the artist. I can't even tell that story.
I respect that. That's a good laugh in and of itself. That's a whole story you ain't told.
That's a whole. Oh man, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Times, but yeah, that was nuts.
All right, everybody. The Hype Magazine live sessions, man. We've had Swagg R'Celious. Check him out. Pay attention to what he's got going on. Stay tuned. He's out there looking for artists, looking for producers, and giving out as a gatekeeper. Much respect to you, and one love.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless.